Founded in 1995 by musician, producer, and LSU graduate Jim Oden, Presonus continues with the goal of building professional and affordable music production tools for musicians and audio engineers for well over a decade. The company has succeeded in this vision, winning various awards and releasing some of the most pioneering, state-of-the-art, and sought-after audio production tools presently known within the industry. Our artist focus today is audio engineer, producer, and LA Recording School graduate Jason Serrano, who uses Presonus in live performance in addition to studio production and mastering. Jason integrates the StudioLive 16.4.2 Virtual StudioLive and StudioLive Remote for the iPad to control and monitor the sound system at the Roxy nightclub in Los Angeles. We will speak to Jason about how he uses Presonus in a live venue environment and the recording studio. Hi, I'm Malia Levin, and we're here interviewing Jason Serrano at his house this morning in the studio. Hi, Jason.
Hello.
How are you doing this morning? Thank you so much for having us over for coffee. We appreciate it.
Yeah, not a problem. I'm glad you're here.
Yeah, so I want to talk to you a little bit about your involvement with Presonus and how Presonus has affected your professional career in and outside of the studio. So you've mixed and mastered numerous records over the past decade, as well as for the past 2 years been doing live engineering and sound at the Roxy. Can you explain to us how Presonus is used in your productions?
Actually, I learned about Presonus from a friend of mine who had the StudioLive 16.4.2. He ran through it with me and I was sold. You know, I felt that it was an all-around great product. For the price, exactly. I did my own research, looked into it, and said, hey, you know what, let's go for it, let's try it. Bought one, and changed my life. I can use it in live situations, I can use it in studio situations, and it covers basically all my parameters that I need to be doing live and studio recordings and mixing.
How do you use the hardware and software applications at the Roxy?
I'm using the StudioLive at the Roxy for live reinforcement. At the Roxy it's a little difficult because the mixing board is actually behind a wall, which is behind the band, so I'm in a sense doing behind of house as opposed to front of house. But with the advancements of Presonus StudioLive, I'm able to use the iPad and actually be able to be at front of house. So what I do is I set my gain structure, and then from that point I take with me the iPad out to front of house actually, and then I continue to start to sound check, and it's great. It's the most easiest thing that you could use. I mean, it's so self-explanatory, it's user-friendly.
Can you explain to us the hardware, software, and wireless interface control systems?
You hook up your laptop to the Presonus board, and then from there you create a network, and then you hook the iPad to the network, which then controls the whole desk. Greatest thing. It has everything that I need there, and I can just keep going and create the mix as I need to. And that's the perfect example of being able to use this iPad as a virtual controller from such a distance, because I'm controlling the board from at least, oh my goodness, I'm a good 20 yards, we'll say, 20 to 30 yards away from the actual board. So that's how far of a distance that I'm able to use this controller and be able to control the mixing board. So great. And with little to no latency at all. It's as soon as I'm moving the fader or moving anything that I need to on the iPad, it's already controlling it flawlessly.
So on average, how many bands do you mix in a week at the Roxy?
On average, mixing bands at the Roxy is continuous. It's great. I love it. It's I can get anywhere from, you know, 10 to 15 acts within a week to close to 30 to 40 acts in a week. You know, it really depends on the booking staff, of course, which they do a fabulous job at the Roxy. So they're keeping me busy, and that's the great thing about it, because there's so many bands and so many dynamics that I pretty much have moved the Roxy board out and have brought the Presonus board in pretty much every time I'm there, and because it just makes it so much easier, and it makes it sound so much better instantly. I introduced the Presonus board to the Roxy Theatre, and you know, the other sound engineers that are there are jumping on board with what it can do. So it's, you know, there might be just a time to where it could actually hopefully be a permanent fixture at the Roxy, which would be great.
Why do you choose Presonus over would-be competitors in the live sound applications?
Using the Presonus is, like I said before, very user-friendly. It has everything that you need right in front of you. Your compression, your gating, your filtering, your phasing, your EQing, and your effects, all right in front of you. Makes it really easy. There's really no guesswork at all. And that's one of the reasons why I picked the Presonus as well. Not only because of its great sound, but because of its user-friendly ability, because then you're that much more efficient to helping the band and getting the mix going and creating a great final product.
What features sets Presonus apart from others that you've worked with?
A third octave EQ, which gets you a spectrum analyzer and a real-time analyzer, and it's a really efficient third octave EQ, and it helps me dial in the sound so much easier and faster with the spectrum analyzer and the real-time analyzer. It's an heaven sent.
Now that we've talked about the live application, how do you use Presonus in your recording studio?
In the studio realm, I use the Presonus StudioLive for everything that you would normally use a mixer for. I record, I mix, I'm even doing some mastering out of it as well. It's really responsive, and like I said, the real-time analyzer helps me out a huge deal, especially on mastering. It works as an inline mixer as they have in major studios. So basically what you can do is, as you're recording in to your DAW, which is StudioLive 1, at that point you bring it in, set your gain structure for your recording, and then on top of the board there's a firewire button coinciding per channel. So you set all those channels to on. And then what you can do then is you create a monitor mix with the faders. So it's almost exactly like an inline board. So you're recording in and then still being able to hear your mix with the faders and create a monitor mix, and it's great. It's efficient, and I couldn't ask for anything more right now.
Your most recent release, Guide of Souls from Skylark Recordings, you utilized Presonus StudioLive. Can you tell us how you utilize that in your production?
With the Guide of Souls song, I primarily used the Presonus StudioLive for the mixdown, and then also some of the mastering. I kind of flip-flop back and forth with the mastering on that, but it was mainly for the mix. I actually used some of the compression and gating for some of these situations. I used the gating for some triggering, and it worked just fine. That's the great thing about it as well. I did do some recording for a drum loop that I needed, and what you can do then as you're recording in, you could also use the parameters. So for EQing and compression that I used for that, I actually used the board's compression and EQing and recorded that into the DAW. So that's another thing that's great about this board. You set on the dig out button here, you hit that, and that's what allows you to bring in the Presonus settings into your recording.
So Jason, I wanted to thank you once again for having us here, your time this morning. I know you're busy, and I hope our viewers got a chance to really get a moment into your world. And we want to thank you guys for keeping up with us and keeping up with Jason.